All right, you're asking for it, so here it is.
Epicast.
Listen to this.
I want you folks laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. Get sweating, getting wet, and all that.
Welcome to the 224th episode of the Drinking Partners podcast. Yes, this is our Kobe Bryant episode because it was just his birthday. You know what I'm saying? 8/24, shout out to Kobe. Happy birthday, Kobe. But from an analogy perspective, I feel like we moved into our 24 Kobe stage. We started out as 8 Kobe, the new hot thing, very athletic, doing different shit, just out here taking people by storm. But now we've moved into this phase of maturity where it's all about understanding the game, finding our spots, and getting to our spot, getting to what we want. You know what I'm saying?
And
the game slows down.
Achy bones, because my shit's achy.
And
these
achy
days,
bones,
man.
yes, that comes with it. But we not that old, but we old.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that point has been solidified or validated by the fact that we are now, wine enthusiast honorees, 40 under 40, 2019. You know what I'm saying? That's when Kobe won his first MVP. It felt like when Kobe got his first chip after Shaq. You know what I mean? Like, and it was kind of G how he did it, because they asked him at the podium, like, what was good about it? He's like, I got one more to Shaq. He was like, that's real. That's real.
In case you were wondering.
Yeah, just, I'm ahead of this nigga. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to wine enthusiasts. We appreciate that. Shout out to everybody who supports. You know what I mean? We on our 24 Kobe stage. So stay tuned. I'm half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Dave Brace. He say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at Partners Pod. 224 episodes, man, plus some lost shit. We've been asking y'all, and we will continue to ask you, man. Please hop on iTunes, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well, man. So please hop on iTunes, rate and review.
Listen, you love us. You see us in public. You tell us that you love us. Now, at the click of a button, please tell the internet. Please tell the world, tell everybody, tell your friends, tell your mama. We never tell you to tell your parents. Tell your parents. Like, we official now. We in magazines now.
We saw some aunties out.
I mean, the aunties coming. We get the aunties out. Yeah, man. The G-Mons, aunties, the Memas, they all fall through to see your boys. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, tell everybody, man. Make it a family affair to fuck with the Drinking Partners. You know what I mean? And as always, in lieu of rates and reviews, although we do appreciate, and I think I need to start putting this on, we do appreciate and encourage rates and reviews. But in lieu of rates and reviews, please, we do accept shots of Hennessy. All right, we ain't forgot. We never forgot our roots.
Yeah,
we never forgot our roots. Shout out to James Logbo, aka Car Guy DJ, and the Conways for starting the trend. Shout out to everybody for continuing the trend. Shout out to James. It was recently his birthday. I seen that B-Day gift, fam. I seen that. He had the Beamer with the red interior.
What?
He was starting on him. Yeah, Jay, we putting you out there, baby.
But he always got like some.
Well, he
like,
worked in the car industry.
He's always got Beamer, some shit like
for Pittsburgh, the Beamer is like that. That's that next. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to James, man. Shout out to everybody who kept the trend going, man. All these shots of Hennessy we done got Henny from Florida. You know what I mean?
So this dude, so Reviox.
Yeah,
I mean, like, he brought up the white Henny. So I mean, I just wanted to, because he's got some things cooking up down there in Florida, and he
higher point of view on Instagram.
Yeah, man, like came through with the white. That was the first time I ever really had it, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. It's
y'all really be out here listening.
Yo, it's crazy, yo. So this past couple weeks, it's really been humbling because people really listen to us. They know that we say that. They know who's the bad guy. You just know a lot about us. It's weird, you know what I mean, that motherfuckers know so much about my opinions, but it's cool.
Yeah, when I see y'all, like, you know what I mean, like, you come to me and like, you've heard me drunk as shit, and I don't even remember half the shit I be saying.
We don't remember none of this motherfucking podcast. None of it.
And I'm like, and you are like, and it's so like, man, but like, it's ingratiating because it's almost like you just find like family that you didn't even know was out there. So shout out to the folks that listen and support and keep us doing what we're doing. I mean, like, it means a lot.
Yeah, and what we like, and one of the coolest things that has happened is people come to Fresh Fest and they have a good time, and then you can meet them for the first time, and they show an appreciation, like, yo, thank you for putting in the work that allows me to have this good time. You know what I mean? Like I got to come to this event, and all of it comes from or stems from the work you're putting in, week to week, day to day, whatever. And that leads us into our guests, because we went to the Deutschtown Music Festival, had a great time. Yeah, what I mean, but we didn't really know the motherfuckers behind it. Like, we don't know.
Well, I mean, like just watching the logistics of some shit like that was
grand
just,
is
I
crazy.
was like, holy fuck. And but yeah, super excited to have our guest on today.
Yeah, our guest and the music festival, obviously the music is important, and this motherfucker, like, he coordinates all that. So all the head nods, all the vibes, all the little man twerks we did, because every dude got their man twerk move. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't quite, you ain't quite bending your knees or whatever, but your hip a little more involved than that move. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all just shoulders and elbows. But we'd like to welcome Hugh Twyman of Hugh Shows to the podcast. Say what up to the people.
What up? AKA Hugh Shows, AKA Henny White.
Oh, shit. AKA Henny White. He stepped it up. He stepped it up. Yo,
That's
he
right.
Had that in the top.
That's right, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Different dude. I don't even know this. He's talking to this motherfucker. Where did
It's
that
a
come from?
switch. He's a vet in the game,
I'm
man.
a vet. I'm an old head. Come on.
He's a vet in the game. You can expect nothing less from the man that puts on, like, what do you got, like 8,000 bands on? Like,
No,
you
we're
take over,
growing.
You take over all of Allegheny City, man.
Right. We're over on the north side. We go up to the Wiggle Whiskey, and we go down to the PNC Park now. There's a couple spaces down there. The brewery down there, local. We just did that, so we're all over the place. It's crazy.
So let the people know what Hugh Shows is, what it is that you do, and why you got so much swag. Because that's a top 3 what up to the people.
Yeah. Hugh Shows is I started it 15 years ago this year. It started in 2004, and I was just taking a camera.
Shout out to the class of 04.
Yeah, 04. Are you in the house? What's up?
Yeah, we in this, John.
So I started taking my camera to concerts, and I was like, well, I might as well do something with it. So I wanted to do a website, and I was going to call it Pittsburgh Music or whatever. So I called it Hugh Shows, but I was a little embarrassed. I thought it was like too overstepping. Like, who the fuck is this? Hugh Shows, fuck you, But I stuck with it, and now it's like the premiere. I've been around for 15 years. Everybody who else has done it has come and gone. They do it for a couple years, and it's fun as hell. So I just have fun with it.
So you can legally take your camera to concerts.
You
got a media pass? How does this work?
The first time I bought a brand new camera, I took it to a concert, and they're like, "You can't bring that in here. What are you doing? It's like a lens out to here." I said, "Oh, I can't," and they're like, "No." So I had to tuck it in the car, and I'm like, "Well, I'm going to figure out how to do it." So what I did is I hooked up with WYAP, and I would send bands emails and say, "Hey, I'm shooting for YAP. Oh yeah, here's your photo pass." So I did that for like 3 or 4 years. It was great. I got into any and every concert I could, like U2, anything I wanted, I could go, and I did. I went to like 3 shows a week for 2 years. So after that, I got a little burnt out and decided to do other things. But HughShows.com is still going, man.
Why music? You have a music background?
I can fumble a couple chords on a guitar and sing real bad, but yeah, no, not really.
See, I can't even fuck with it. Yeah, like a gospel. I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that was either.
He riffed it. Like, that wasn't a regular. Oh, that motherfucker had a blah, blah, blah.
There was an inflection in
Like
there.
that sounds like you know how to talk about Jesus in a tent.
Yo,
Like,
that sounds like the dude gonna be
Speaking in tongues. So no, I'm not a musician.
New revival tree of life.
set a one up to the people.
I said, don't ask. Don't ask. I said, don't ask. No question. He got Joel Osteen about to hit him up like, look, fam, I need you.
Yeah, right.
Yo, them music ministers of
parts.
music in them churches, they be making bank, yo.
Well, look at those mega churches.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And a lot of the church is music. Like it's
Yeah.
like all right, so I've been to church a few times. I'm gonna be honest. There's only been one or two times where the pastor, like in his sermon, has caught me. But like when the choir gets involved and like
yeah, no, you're going for
it's
the
like
choir,
it's
bruh.
like a whole ass
yeah,
like
you're going for the
free
choir.
concert that
Yeah,
ain't free because they
exactly.
passing that bucket around. Like give 10% of your earnings.
But they
hold
it's-
on, fam.
But it's free. But it's
mortgage.
But it's free for everybody but the motherfucking pastor. Because I was in the choir and in the congregation, and I ain't get paid. Like I was given, and I was given in both. Like you know what I mean, like but nobody
Does the
like.
pastor tie?
No, I think it's their donation of time.
I think he gives 10% to his Gators.
Too.
Yeah.
The black churches be there for
He
like
gives
6 hours.
he gives like
That's a
10%
fourth of my Sunday.
to his gas and his G5. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what his God is, whether it's like, you know what I mean, McDonald's or fucking like Lambos, but he gives 10%
He
to
didn't even
something.
sponsor the picnic. I could at least get the ribs. Like, damn, man. Sorry, I
Came,
won't take you
came empty handed again.
there. Nigga came with a sash. He got no cookout sandals in a sash. Get out of here. Pulling up in a fucking foreign whip with some cookout sandals and a sash. Chill ass.
I came with blessings, brother.
Right.
He didn't, fam. So with Hugh shows, are you still frequenting like the local shows, or are you just coordinating bands? Like,
I hooked up with the Deutschland Music Festival 4 years ago, and that's
Tell us about that. Like, what is the magnitude? Like, how the fuck?
It's
Cause
intense.
like how many
intense.
musical acts are there?
Well, we open up the submissions every year, February 1st, and then we close it March 1st, and we get 500 submissions. So we get 500 bands who want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Doing this for 15 years, I recognize 250, 300 of them. I know who they are. I don't have to listen to the music. Other 150, 200, I'm like, I've never heard of these bands from Pittsburgh. So I just make a little online spreadsheet, and I put the band name and the link to their music that they provide. And for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll be walking the dog, clicking on the link.
That's nasty.
You
Just
know,
listen to shit that you
yeah.
might or might not like.
No. Well,
That's rough.
I don't listen to it long if I don't like it.
But you got to give it a certain, because it might.
You
get
do,
into
you
some
do.
shit
So
like.
you go through all of those?
I go through all of them.
You
Yes.
go
Hey.
through
Yes,
all
I
of
do.
because I like
Yeah.
when I was running the Pittsburgh
intern?
Comedy Festival, like we only got like I don't know, maybe 200, and I had a board of folks that I would like run it through, and then like I would take the top because I trusted their like
Right.
it was enough of a mix that I would have enough of a double blind, and then I only was doing like the top. So if I got to
Right.
whittle it down to 50, then I'm going to take the top 100 and then take half
Right.
of those. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
As opposed
no,
to
I-
going through the 200 to 300
I
that were.
understand that math. If I got it,
Yeah,
whittled down
right.
to 50,
It just-
I'm gonna take the top 100, and then
Yeah, like
why you gonna take?
he
If it
missed
got
that
it
day.
whittled down to 50, why you taking the top 100?
I'm only reviewing 100 out of say the first year was 200, the second year was 400.
Okay.
So there's 400
Yeah, yeah,
submissions. I'm not going through 400 submissions.
Oh, hell no.
I'm
Right,
going
right,
through
right.
the top 100
400
and
motherfuckers talking.
taking those
I can't
down.
do that.
Yeah.
Taking those down to 50.
I don't know if I can listen to 400 great comedians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a
like
lot
bang,
of
bang, bang, bang,
motherfuckers
bang,
talking.
too. You're not listening
At
to
least
their
with
whole
music,
set.
it's music. Like it would have to for it to be all bad. I mean, it'd have to be really.
It's
music.
definitely not all bad, but there are some that are just like, and here's another thing. If they're just fucking around, and nothing wrong with that, but if they're just fucking around on the weekends, you know, a couple dads fucking
So you can hear the quality as it's
you can,
submitted.
yeah.
You
If
can just be
they're not
"Ugh."
putting anything in the production, if their profile pic is a fucking, you know, cell phone camera from across a bar, it's like, what are they doing? You
The
know,
kids in the background.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck
Yeah,
up,
right.
Tom.
No, there's certain criteria that I personally do, whatever. But so I do that. But this year, the organizers opened it up to Reverb Nation, the submission process for nationally, and supposedly we got 2,500 to 3,000 submissions, and this kid who works for the Northside Leadership Conference listened to all of those.
Wow.
And I said, I'm not doing that. That you're fucking out of your mind if you think I'm listening to that. So he listened to all of them supposedly and gave me the top 100 of those, and I picked like 20 to 30 of those.
Yeah. So that makes more.
Right. Like a committee, but like I don't do by committee. I just do it myself. I take it on, and I'm like, I know what I'm doing, and I do it rather well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a burden. It's fun for me.
But
and-
how did Deutschtown come to be? Like, where the fuck? Because you guys made that out of nothing.
I didn't. I only joined. It's a 7th year. I only joined 4 years ago, and it was dude Cody Walters. You know Cody. The dawn of Northside, right? So he started it. He came up with an idea of like, hey, let's have a music festival to promote the North Side. So the first year in 2013, I think they only had like 40 bands. I think it was one night, 4 venues, you know, if that, and it just was getting out of control, man.
Getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
but it breaks artists to people. Like I first saw the Sierra Sellers. She's dope. I saw her at Deutschtown.
When, this year?
This year?
Yeah, you never heard of her before?
I had not. I was not hip to her before, and then she was at what the fuck else was she?
She was
at Creatives.
Yeah,
she did Creatives.
Down at
she's definitely at Creatives.
Yeah.
Drink.
So
she was down
we
in
did Deutschtown, and I saw her at Creatives, and so
yeah, she's awesome.
Now I'm like, all right, she dope. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Right.
That's the value of those, but it's hard because. And maybe you can speak to this. So now you're listening to all these bands, some local, some now national. How difficult is it for someone to buy into like a local artist, in your opinion?
I think it's real difficult just for the fact that I find it difficult for people to buy into what I'm doing. You guys find it difficult to buy into what you're doing. You know what I mean?
We got a little bit of validation.
Yeah, you do have validation, but it's a hustle, and you don't know, and you're doing it out of
nobody knows about our mamas. Man.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
For real, like
so it's like you don't like as for a local band, people ask me all the time. Like local bands contact me and like, hey, how do I break? How do I get? I say, first things first. Write great songs. Write songs people want to fucking hear. You know what I mean? You have to write. You have to be talented. You have to write great songs, and then you meet people, and you go out to shows, and you meet other bands, and you say, "Hey, I loved your set. Let's play together," or whatever. You have to network. That's all it is. You know, it's the hustle. So, but whether people take it as serious as other people, I don't know. Touring, I don't know. I don't know that shit. I'm just, some guy who enjoys doing it, and I got into a position where I can spread the love. That's all.
Yeah, just trying to like pay it forward in some way. In
some way, yeah. I do this. It's pretty much altruistic. I pay to do this over the years. I have a TV show, and it costs me money, but the bands get exposure that way, and it lives forever. Whenever they tape an episode of my show, it's out there forever.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-song video that they have at that point in time. You know what I mean?
It's a time capsule.
It's a time capsule where they were at.
You're recording history, and that's
exactly
that's what a lot of people don't like understand in this journalistic. Like what we're doing, like this age of the internet. Like once it's out there, it's out there,
and it's frozen in time.
Yeah,
right.
And like people are, like it's you don't know where in history it's going to be, how it's going to be used, but it has an effect.
It has an effect, and here's the thing, I think in the back of my mind, it has an effect. It's a positive thing. The bands are into it. The people who enjoy the bands are into it. Okay, so we're doing it for likes, or we're doing it for, I kind of like stopped doing that because maybe I taped an episode in 2015 of a band and nobody heard of them. Maybe they come out like 7 years later with the fucking album that blows up in Pittsburgh. Oh, they always have that. They always have that back episode where they started.
Some grandkid be like, "Oh, so and so." Like, well, did you hear his grandpa was on the guitar?
Right.
This, you know what I mean?
Right.
You can kind of trace, because that's the thing that history and is lost to us, and a lot of people that's why Ancestry.com is big, because it's like, lost records of where we all came from, and you can have that history and kept and stories or whatever. But now we're in an age where it's going to be hard to not be able to trace where you came from in the last, like, you know, like for the next, you know, generations. Like everybody, it's all recorded, you know.
Well, my aunt, she did that like maybe 20 years ago. But she didn't do ancestry. She didn't get the swab in her mouth. She went to Ireland and got all this shit, and she traced it back to like fucking people on boats and shit, whatever. But the ancestry kit, somebody said, "Oh, don't fucking do that. It's a conspiracy. That's your data that they're just harvesting."
Well, yeah, I have
and they're
that.
storing that.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's freaked
Well,
out.
the largest industry in America and in the world actually is information.
Right.
Data
right,
is the
right,
largest
right.
industry ever. Like everything, like Facebook is built around data. It ain't about
Right.
you. It ain't about your memory. It's about your whereabouts,
Yeah.
who you associate with, what you like to do, eat, drink.
And how we
That's
can
what it's
market
about.
that shit.
If it's selling your shit, the credit bureaus, it's about collecting your data. They sell that fucking shit.
Well, I mean, but I also think that like you're dispelling the myth that like, oh, you started this on your own, or that this is like, you know, I mean, you did this by yourself. Because now we have records. You see what I'm saying? And we can see the chain of how people have evolved and become, as opposed to like some motherfucker that just pops up on the scene and is able to create a story.
Oh, we can't get Christopher Columbus no more.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I
But
mean,
they
we
changed this
have a
holiday
record.
recently. It's like not Christopher Columbus Day anymore. Isn't it like Indigenous People Day?
Yeah,
But it never
because-
became official, did it? Like I think some
I know a
towns
lot
are
of-
doing
I mean,
it.
I
It's something-
think-
yeah.
People like companies and they recognize it. I don't know if like, I guess technically it's been replaced, but
Right.
you know, you
There's
can
a
look at the
movement to do
corporate
it.
responsibility and be like, yo, stop saying Christopher's Indigenous people.
Yeah. It's
Or some shit.
It's Harriet Tubman on the 20.
I mean, it was,
You know?
well, you know, they trying to push that back.
Yeah, well, of course.
If they
you're gonna
got a
get pushed
release
back.
date for that, like, you know, they gonna push
Right.
that Harriet Tubman. That shit, what was it, 2029 or something? They got it crazy pushed back. I ain't never seen no Tubman Blueface.
This is episode 2 of 2, man. I just loved watching that conversation turn into Harriet Tubman's.
We're getting deep.
Man.
Let me ask you guys something. Why do you call each episode for a basketball player? Is the 220?
It's not so.
Well,
Is it the
just
number
a-
correlation or
the
you
number
just,
correlation, and I'm supposed to analogize their career, their contribution to what we do or what has been done.
so this number is 224?
So it's 224. So
And
we took 24.
Oh, okay.
It's Kobe Bryant's birthday just passed, and
I gotcha.
again the two phases of Kobe's career, where he was the young,
Right on.
startup, like, oh, this is the new thing, and then but what happened with Kobe is what sustained his career is he got good at what he did. He understood the business of basketball as far as the game, and really off the court, he's really mastered
Yeah.
the business of basketball, and that's where we're in now because podcasting is not as new to Pittsburgh. We've learned to diversify. So where Kobe came in and he was just dunking over everybody, he had to learn a mid-range game. He had to work on his footwork. So we had
Yeah.
to diversify. We need a festival and all types of shit to stay relevant because he and I just sitting here talking. That's cool.
Yeah.
Us just sitting. But
Yeah.
ain't nobody going to fuck with you just because you drink
Right.
and talk shit. They could do that themselves. But we now
Right.
drink, talk shit, and we're in rooms with people that they like. We get to break products that people like, break artists. We get to fucking run a festival. We get to
Yeah.
give you content
Yeah.
online. So it's all about
changing up.
diversification.
I bring that up because my uncle is a pro NBA Hall of Famer.
Your
Isn't it-
uncle is
Jack Twyman. He played in the early 60s, late 50s, early 60s for the
Who?
Cincinnati Royals,
okay.
who are now, I don't know if they're
I'm googling him. I'm probably gonna create him.
Well,
on
he's from
2K.
Pittsburgh. He went to Central Catholic, went to Duquesne.
Oh, shit.
Got drafted by the Royals, and he was in the NBA Hall of Fame. But his story is his teammate Maurice Stokes.
Most of
Mo
the
Stokes.
Portland Trailblazers coach and now
No, he was a
No.
teammate of his, Maurice Stokes. Back in 1958, he played a game and he fell on his head. He was on the plane and he was sweating. He was like, "Oh man, I don't fucking feel good." Played the next game. The next day, he was paralyzed.
oh shit.
The height of his career, he was paralyzed. And back
It was
then
like
in the
bumps or some shit.
no, it was just like a head injury.
Oh, a head.
Yeah.
was a delayed-
It was a delayed
Oh.
thing, and so back then, the NBA didn't take care of their players. There was no insurance or whatever. He was hospitalized, and the only way he could survive is if my uncle legally adopted him. And it's a whole story. Now there's, my uncle passed away in 2012. The NBA has the Twyman Stokes Award, best teammate in the league. Yeah.
Wow.
So if you Google it, it'll come up.
You
You
never
know?
know who you know. I'm
Right.
definitely gonna create
Yeah,
something
yeah.
on 2K.
Yeah.
Because the Royals ain't on
Yeah.
there, but I'm creating.
But he was hard. My uncle, he would tell us stories about. He's like, they just invited like the class of '60 to the NBA Hall of Fame game or the All-Star game or whatever, the finals. And he's like, we walked in and it was like, holy shit, man, it's like fucking amazing. He's like, when we played the championship game, they had a nail to hang our coat.
Yeah.
You know, in the locker room.
I wonder
damn.
what. I always wonder what like backward shit we're doing right now that people is going to talk shit on like 30 years from now. Like,
Oh,
you
would
know
it
what I
be
mean?
like, yo, y'all doing that?
Yeah, like you
Y'all
just
still
used to
tying
like
y'all
you just
yeah.
be burning gas
Yeah,
and
right.
shit. The fuck was y'all
That's
thinking?
coming.
But,
That's
like,
coming.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I see motherfuckers that work at Popeyes talking about, I'm about to get this Tesla. Like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
you can afford a
Yeah.
Tesla?
Yeah.
Like, that's just gonna be regular. They tying your shoes, dressing yourself, going to work. Like, you leave your house.
Yeah,
to get
right.
paid?
Right.
Why you do that? Where they
You have
do
to
that at?
travel?
What's
What the
that?
fuck is you doing? I mean, everything's automated now. You could get everything delivered.
Oh, wait till the truck drivers don't have a job, man. That's why they want to do that. Trucks go back and forth constantly,
It's
you know?
all leading up to the Matrix. It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll be in pods soon enough. You know what I mean? It's all good.
Right.
You know?
Won't have it. So Jack Twyman, I gotta look him up.
Yeah, definitely look them up. I told Ed before we started, I'm a teacher in the city school, and I found a picture of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar getting blocked by Bill Walton, and Bill Walton kind of looks like me from the back, and so I just put I just put a little caption. It's like Hugh Twyman dunks a signature skyhook shot from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but he broke his hip. in his rookie year, blocking it. And so I tell my kids, and I'm like, yeah, I was in the ABA. Come on. It's like, you want to play one-on-one? I'll piss on you. Come on. And so they're like, you're not a fucking NBA. I go, Google Twyman. So they Google it, and the first thing that comes up is my uncle, and they're like, no shit, man. Because they don't know. They don't get the 1960 to, they don't get it. It's hilarious.
So hopefully you don't teach math.
No. No, I missed that day.
They not on a good pace for that. Like, damn, bro.
So, what's the best concert you've been to in Pittsburgh?
In my life or within the
Whatever
last...
whatever that means to you. What's the best concert you've been to?
I used to, like, when I was little, I would see, everybody hated those stadium shows, but those stadium shows are amazing now. When I first started going to see shows in the early 80s, it was rudimentary and there wasn't much there, but Taylor Swift. I take my kid to see Taylor Swift. I don't know one song that she does, but goddamn, is that impressive?
Yeah.
Is that
behind that?
There's a lot.
You
but
know, it's crazy. My boy Chris, like, he shoots for the Trib or whatever. He said the same thing, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure
it's kind
there's
of
a
weird as
lot
hell.
behind that
Like,
show.
Right.
Like, she's not getting no run of the mill, nothing. It's
No, it's
gonna
all
be-
top notch, and for what she does, the reason why I go is because I take my daughters, but it's like, why not? I'm there, and it's just mind blowing. It's like it's choreographed because of the visuals, but it's just impressive.
I can imagine that. Like, so we do comedy. I would say look at like Kevin Hart shit, like with the fire and all that.
all
Like
that. It's just
his
like,
later
the production
stand-ups,
is-
maybe the jokes weren't on point,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna get production that exceeds Kevin Hart's shows. Like, he don't have. That's how he can do.
I do like how you went with
Stadiums.
Taylor Swift as opposed to like anybody of significance. That's a very like throwaway.
Yeah,
Like, he's
like,
making
who-
no
like,
enemies.
if anybody doesn't
No
know,
enemies,
Google
just-
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
If you've never heard of her.
Very
I
soft.
don't know anything
like,
about
let
Taylor
me just.
Swift, but I'll tell you what. I know they put a lot of money into her show.
Yeah.
I know
It's
that.
all money, man. It's like crazy. And she sells out. That's why she sells out stadiums on the whole run.
Well, it's a whole experience.
Yeah.
I mean, they're selling it. There's a Taylor Swift experience now, I would imagine. Like, it's not just, I'm going to hear her songs. I mean, it's like the experience or whatever. I'll tell you the best. I'll tell you, man, I went and saw Beyonce last year. I ain't seen nobody outperform her.
Right.
That shit.
Right.
I mean, when you make a rap icon obsolete, Jay-Z was obsolete. That motherfucker was just a nigga on stage. I didn't give a fuck nothing about what Hov was saying, wearing. He walked out and did his solo. I'm like, boo, nigga, boo. You ain't got a 7-layered weave that you can manipulate on stage. Get your ass out of here with your big chain, Hov.
Yeah. No, my favorite was the fucking Hov and Kanye.
Okay.
Like that
I haven't seen that combination.
When they came out with that with the Watch the Throne. Like it was Kanye on one stage, Hov on the other stage, like, and they was doing like this, they was moving up and down and coming from the ceilings and shit like that, and it was just each one bang bang bang, like, and they all got hits for days, like, so you're like, and there was no opener. You just walked in and it was just bang, Kanye, Hov, Kanye, Kanye and Hov, Hov, Hov and Kanye, Kanye, Hov, Hov and Kanye and Hov and Kanye, like, and it was for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, and
was
then,
it too long? Was it like
no?
Was it like
listen. We were there for 3 hours plus. Like I walked out on the 4th iteration of niggas in Paris or whatever.
They kept running that back.
They kept running that back and back. I was like, because I figured they were trying to get footage for that. I was like, all right, man. After the 4th one, I was like, all right, but I still stayed through 3 of those motherfuckers.
Right.
Yeah, like crazy that concert was.
I think they could pull that off because they all got hits.
Yeah.
Because I think when I went last year, it was the On the Run tour. They didn't have it open either. They had DJ Khaled was their opener. So it was you just get he's DJing.
Yeah, but he's huge as fuck.
No, he's where you get your drinks and everybody
his mixtapes. I don't know how you. I don't know. Listen, man, not to just be taking shots at people at the top, but like, I mean, I just be listening to his mixtapes. I be listening. I'm like, how do you get all these talented people and it still sounds like a mayonnaise sandwich? Like, like this is insane. Like,
I haven't listened to a lot of.
You haven't listened. When's the last time you listened to a whole? Yeah.
I will say the one before this last one was the one I listened to the whole.
Yeah.
That had the Nas album done.
There was a couple of There's a couple of jewels.
He's smart. He puts out a big single, and then he just puts a bunch of names on his shit, and he just rides. But he worked his way up to
Nothing against the hustle. Nothing against.
No, I ain't mad at the hustle.
Yeah,
but I'm not about to go out and cop a Khaled album. I don't see Khaled on a flyer.
I ain't mad that you're doing it.
But he pack it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not a consumer of it. You know what I'm saying? Mayonnaise sandwiches ain't my thing. But like, if you on the corner smacking these mayonnaises off the street,
more power to you.
Like we said with Evolution, though, here's what he did. So to be the opening act for Jay and Beyonce, to have to carry that room, to carry that arena, it can't just be you playing music. They hired you guys, so you got to walk across the stage, DJ, and show your little underbelly and do all that shit and be all lively. You got to do all that.
But you know what he also did though? He did a good job of like people were buying into him as a dude. So they're like, all right, well it's okay if you're selling
rebranded himself
like if
with
you
his
throw
son.
some paprika on these sandwiches because like you're a cool dude.
Yeah,
and, like, we
right,
want to
right,
hang out while you like.
So he did rebrand himself with the son. He brings the son up.
He brings the son everywhere.
You know what I mean?
He named his album after his son.
It's all these like
I don't give a fuck about his son. I hope his son has a great life, but
you find that a little like, come on, man.
I mean. But
pimping out your kid to further your career.
I'm trying to figure out where I stand with that because part of me understands it. He's operating on a level that I'm not. You know what I mean? He has to keep this thing going. Yeah. But me, I'm like, I don't want to put my kids out there.
Right.
I'm not DJ Khaled though. So I try not to hate on anybody.
No.
I don't, because think about it. Like his skill is bringing egos together. Like when you look at NBA, we talked about the NBA, like if you look at the greatest coaches like a Phil Jackson.
Right.
Their biggest skill is managing egos of Hall of Fame players. Like motherfuckers who can't manage that, their teams break up. Like look at Steve Kerr.
But I mean, like I feel like what I feel like they all do. He's just like, here's a beat, put and he's like, listen, go into the studio and write a verse to this beat.
Here you go.
Where, it doesn't matter where you're at because we all are millionaires.
No. So you from
I don't think-
Pittsburgh.
Hold
Send
on,
Wiz Khalifa a beat.
hold on.
Send Wiz a beat.
Listen.
They
Hold
got to
on.
respond.
But like, listen, because he's DJ Khaled, so he just goes put to so simple, and he's just like write it to that, and then he just
I don't think he
puts
makes
them
the
on
beats.
shit. I don't think he makes the beats
That's what I'm
either.
saying.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that he's leveraging
his talent.
He does nothing.
I can't say that. I can't say that he does nothing. To get to go to
he's
operate
not-
on those levels.
I don't think that he's managing people's, like, it's not like he's getting them in the room together and coordinate. He's like, listen, bruh,
I don't
you got
think that's
5
what it
minutes.
takes.
I think you got 5 minutes that you can go into
But
a
that's
studio
not what
and
it
put down
takes.
like a verse that you got sitting in the closet somewhere. I'll give you,
I think you're very
I don't know what you want.
narrow-minded
What's your
in that
verses these
mindset.
days? Like 300,000? Cool.
Yeah,
and
here
go
you
in
go.
there, record that. And then he just puts them side by side on
I
a
don't think
track.
that's how. First of all,
Just track
when
after
you're
track.
talking about and you manage
and then it's just
So
the
you put
it's
together,
like Legos.
you put
like-
together, and so I'd imagine in these 4 years, there's been some issue with placement on a show,
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
giving
yeah.
with this, that, and the third. There's a lot that goes in it.
That's
So
live
there's-
shit.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
not live.
But wait a
They're not
minute.
going on tour.
who you
So-
putting on this song with?
Right.
Who you
There's no
putting on
Khaled
this
tour.
album?
Who's
There's a
the
whole lot
single?
of shit
Who's the-
behind it.
yeah, there
I
is.
gotta be able to put my name behind what
You-
you're doing.
you
There's
get the
something to
singles
that.
out first,
So why are
and
there
then you
no
send
other
everybody a
DJ
note.
Khaled's?
Huh?
Why are there no other DJ Khaled's?
There's a bunch of DJ Khaleds.
Name
There's a
'em.
bunch of DJs.
Name them. Where's
Oh,
the DJ Khaled?
There's the Mustards. There's the
No,
motherfucking.
Mustard don't have Jay, Future, all
got
the
a
hottest
different-
artists.
he
He
got a
don't have them
different
on their
caliber,
album.
motherfucker.
He don't have them all on his album. What's Mustard's last album called?
Hey,
When did it come out?
I'm not
What
going
you
to
know
take
about
away
Perfect
from.
10?
I'm not going to take
There
away
is
from
no
this.
other DJ Khaled right now. So what I'm trying to do is because I understand your point of view,
Yeah.
but I think and you can acquiesce to this. Like
Yeah.
there's more. You have to look beyond the surface shit on because niggas is winning. Like it's something he doing right.
Yeah, no.
And it ain't
I'm not
just
taking
being
away
DJ
from his
Khaled.
talent.
It
No,
ain't
I
just
get
because he a
that.
cool dude.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like he ain't just a cool. Like it's something
Yeah.
that he did that maybe it was just that first album where he coordinated some stuff. And because you're not gonna get paid off his album, you get paid off your song, and I'm sure they get paid some royalties, whatever. But I'm not giving DJ Khaled a song because this album's gonna go diamond, and I'm gonna get a whole bunch of money. It's because I see value in that, and I rock with dude.
You're right.
It ain't a bunch of startups on his album.
Right.
These are people who are established, who are popping. So what are the challenges of coordinating like a bunch of like 20 to 30 musical acts? You know,
We
the
have
festival is
400.
running. Okay, so
we have 400
God
fucking
damn.
bands. Yeah. And so,
What?
yes, we have 400 bands. And so,
God
and constantly, and I should register this about a month before the festival is our drummer didn't tell us he had something phase. And it's like, okay. That's fine. So we got to get somebody else. But it's constantly changing. You know, from when I decide the egos, like some people submit and their special request is we want to be on the main stage. I'm like, everybody wants to be on the main stage. That's the biggest stage, but
the stage.
it's the stage. So yeah, it's just a finesse.
How do you send the email that you're not main stageable?
No, I send the email. How about sending the email that you're not chosen at all? Because we have to turn down like 200 bands. And so a couple years ago, we sent in the email, and I didn't send this, but one of the organizers sent, we're so sorry that you didn't make the festival. We really appreciate you submitting. And he put a picture of a sad kitty.
Why would
That's
you
like,
do that? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. And so somebody
he didn't send that to the collective first to get approval. Like,
no,
yo,
he
is
did
this-
not. No, he did that. He did it on his own. And
That was a unilateral decision
Yeah,
from
Like,
the
no,
come
it
on,
wasn't.
fam. Like,
and so we got a bunch of emails like, "Hey, motherfucker!" It's like there's
that's
one,
what
there's
we
one,
think
you
there's
could
one
say.
thing.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah, right. There's
Like,
one
what
thing
the
not picking us, but they're like fucking rubbing
Yeah,
in.
like motherfucker.
Yeah.
Who's
So
in a
he
sad-
he learned real quick.
Bruh.
But then so when we do,
Bruh, like, I would send a picture of him with a sad face, like this is the motherfucker
yeah,
that sent
right.
that shit.
Or no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your festival.
Yo, the turn down email got to be the most professional writing ever.
Yes, he learned that quick.
Yeah.
Believe me. So
Yeah.
but then you turn down people, and a lot of people go on Facebook because it's like right there. It's like, oh, maybe I'm not going to get picked for Deutschtown again this year, or blah, blah, blah. And I get that, but do you think we're going to consider you next year if you're fucking going to be that way? But a lot of people say, hey, we really appreciate you letting us submit, and hopefully next time we could do it. We always get people who back out, and I pick those people. Right. You know, it's like, hey, do you want to play? You know what we're about. You're positive, and let's do this. And so they're like, yeah, we'd love to play. So that I have about 10 bands a year who do that. That's you know, it's like, you know, hey, we're sorry we sent you. We didn't have spots to fill. We do now. Do you want to play? Yeah.
So placement on show, and Day, I'd love to hear, or I'd love the people would probably love to hear, and you don't have to share it. But so placement on shows and vicinity where you're placed in Fresh Fest, like where your table's placed. I'm sure that's a huge thing. How do you choose, you know, like who goes when? Because as an outsider, I'm looking at it as this, like with Fresh Fest, you want a heavy hitter in every area. Right. But everybody's performing, quote unquote, at the same time.
You have to.
But throughout a show, you kind of want throughout this time period, I need someone big to come in a reasonable time period because I got to keep it going. I got to keep people anticipating.
Not even that. Even the placement of the vendor booths. I think it might have been you. You were like Saturday or Friday. Hey, who's right here? I don't know. You're like me. We're sitting right here, and it was cool because you know Cody loves you, and it's like
I mean it was well. I mean there's that whole North Side like collective up there that kind of just has shown a whole lot of love for events and like I mean and like I sat down with Cody. He was like, "Hey, heard you're doing a festival around there." I mean, and like we sat down and talked. And he just was like throwing me jewels, and then like everybody around there just kept like you know, and you guys like offering that table there or whatever. Like,
but you took the initiative. You were like, "Hey, who's to this table?" Well, I think it's somebody. You're like, "Well, until they come and kick us out, I'm why not?" And not only that day, it's you're cool. You know, we're cool with each other. Like if you were a piece of shit who caused trouble or who was arrogant, who was like whatever little thing, we were going to remember. They were going to remember that and be like, "Get the fuck out of here."
I actually got my writing gig sitting because Pittsburgh Current was like there. I mean, I was there sitting there with Bethany, and we were just busting it up. Like she was like, "Yeah, you guys could get under and you know," and like we were like sharing like I mean space over there and like, and then she was like, "Yo, do you want to like write?" I was like, I don't know shit about writing.
Neither do I.
But I'll give it a go. But I mean, it was, again, there's those like types of connections. Like ACB is over there. Like, you know, like, I mean, it's like, it's just, and that whole community. And that's what, you know, like, but again, people don't understand. You don't get there by yourself.
Nobody
gets there by yourself.
But you don't get there if you're negative, if you're cocky, if you're like, if you don't show up, if you don't do the work, you know what I mean? That's what, like I worked my ass off these last 15 years. I work like whatever, but I do it because I love it, just like you guys. This is fun. This, you know, you're doing it for a reason, and it's not like a negative thing. It's so positive, and you just keep dreaming and keep building up. That's all. But going back to the how do you make a lineup on a stage?
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna pick people who you know who other fans know, like Bastard Bearded Irishman. They're you know killing it. They're going to be playing later, and then you just go from there. You know.
Oh, so you start with the headliner of sorts.
Pretty much the main stage, which I made them call the Hugh Show stage. I'm like, I'm doing all this fucking work. Call it the Hugh Show stage. So the Hugh Show stage, I don't pick. It's a collective. That's the one stage. Maybe there's another stage where I don't have a say. This is who we're gonna have, and I'm like, who's the Bill Henry band? You know, they
doing their thing.
They're doing their thing, but I've never heard of them, and it's like Cody was like, believe me, Bill Henry band's gonna kill, and they did.
Yeah,
you know, they're fun as hell.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
when I first saw him, I walked right past him. Like, where's the Bill Henry band? Like,
Hi, I'm Bill.
I'm like, nah, not you, not at James Street. That's ain't you won't play at James Street.
We saw Bill Henry, and we saw BB Guns down
and
there.
BB Guns.
Man,
I mean that's another thing. BB Guns last year. played the main
saw
stage.
them for the first time
Right.
on the main
on the
stage
main stage
last
at
year.
Deutsche?
Like I had heard about them,
Right.
but I never saw them live until then. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
And it was profound for them because they both said, we looked out and saw a sea of faces. We never played that. And it was like a game changer for us.
yeah.
So it was like, yeah, you guys kill it. You guys bring it. You have to be smart about doing that. You know what I mean? You have to be smart about that lineup. So, yeah, but it's just like I've been doing it for 15 years. I know what band should go where. 98%, 2% I fuck up. You know, I'll put a band like electronic screamo band in, you know, some quiet place. Oh, well, I'll take those odds.
Yeah,
You know, I will.
How difficult is it? Because now you guys don't focus on any particular genre either, so that adds a different.
Well,
another level
we
of-
got called up on the main stage. Like my first year, I didn't know what I was doing. Basically, I was just like fucking. I didn't know what to do, and so we had all white male bands. You know, no people of color, no female oriented front led bands, or so I was like, yeah, I fucked up. And so we got called on it. So that's the diversity thing is what we try to do. It's a conscious effort, you know? And instead of like putting a metal stage and a hip hop stage, we bust it up. I think we have to.
Yeah.
On
It gets
every
people
little stage.
moving.
It gets
Yeah.
people
Place to
moving.
place,
Right,
too.
right.
Yeah.
And like I am not versed in metal. I am not versed in country, really. Not that there's too many country, and I'm not versed in hip hop. Okay. So I look to friends. I look to Jonathan Kaleback. I'm like, here's all the people who submitted for metal. Give me who you think should play. I go to Dr. Holly Hood. Amber, I say Amber, doctor. I go, look,
Doctor.
I need
Happy belated.
here's everybody who submitted hip hop genre. Give me your thoughts. And she sends me a list. You have to have. They're good. Avoid.
I'd love to see one of her void emails.
Oh, I got the list. No, I have the list.
Because it's an email. It's an email that doesn't go to the public either. Like I'd love to see.
Right, it's all private.
I feel like she doesn't just say nah. She's like she got to give a. Here's why.
No, she doesn't comment on why, but I trust her
Right.
to know what the fuck she's talking about. You know, but she's
No,
indispensable for our fest.
She's certified.
Yeah.
Definitely certified.
So, I don't know. Like, how do you move forward and stay relevant?
I keep repeating it. Be positive. Just be, reach out to people. Like I cannot tell you guys how appreciative I am of this. You guys are hilarious. This is fucking great. And this is so much fun. You know what I mean? Stuff like this is like, I'm going to use it. Could I embed this into my website? Like, can you embed stuff?
I don't know nothing about technology.
Yo, Buzzy.
Yeah, that's a Buzzy question.
Yeah, Buzzy, can you embed?
I'm still trying to figure out how they catch pictures on the internet. I be having pimples and shit. I got pictures of my freckles.
All low res.
I still don't fully understand how a camera works.
Yeah.
So, like, if we want to...
I mean, fully understand. I don't understand at all.
Yeah, right.
You want to talk about magic? That's magic.
Yeah.
Like,
I know how to use that motherfucker.
We just acting like cameras ain't magic. Like,
right.
Like we really walk around acting like cameras are not magic.
Yeah.
Right.
It's majestic, fam. Like you really just push the button and what just happened at that point
It's there.
is forever.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, but it's just keeping doing what I do because I love it. I love doing what I do. It's just so much fun, and I think it shows, and I'm able to sustain that. You know what I mean? If I don't, like I used to go out and photograph concerts, but that's not my thing now. Some personal stuff happened in my life, and I just can't get out as much. My daughters are grown. I'm concentrating on that. But I could do a TV show every month. I could do Deutschtown. I could do, different things.
I guess expound upon that a bit. Like, how, I don't know, like it's wild, like juggling the gig economy and like various revenue streams and like, artistic expressions with the family life and like how that evolves over the course of a career. You know what I mean? Because like you're a completely different place. Like your family and your whole lifestyle is different now than it was 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
So like, how has that like changed and how has it impacted?
Well, I started getting into it when my daughter was born, right? And she would go to bed at 8:00. So I would go out to a show, and I keep telling my wife for all these years, I don't golf. I don't hunt. I don't do anything.
I know that speech.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
this is all I
we
do.
all have it.
This is
This
all
is what I do.
Work.
Come on.
Come
you
on,
know?
fam. Let me do
Right,
this.
right,
This is
right.
all I do.
Right. You know that speech, right? That's
I'm
it.
giving that speech.
Right.
I've given a speech on the go out and the comeback.
And the comeback.
You come back,
Right.
she's sitting up in the living room. It's all
That's
dark.
the speech.
She's sitting there.
Gas
all have
money.
it.
That's all the
Yeah.
fuck I do.
Right. And then that's what she said. Where's if I get something in the mail, is that a check? No. Well then, hey. Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
that's hard if you're struggling to do it. But so financially, I've been able to do it because what I do is like people dig it. So bands, there's a big thing now, which is very important about financial compensation for these artists.
Right.
You know, if you're playing a show, you deserve to get paid as an artist instead of the sound man.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So, but I've been doing it for so long that people were like, "Oh yeah, Hugh, we'll do this for you because you do it for us," kind of thing. And if they're willing to do that, then I keep on doing stuff.
I mean, trade of services is big, and I keep talking
Right.
about this, socialism next to capitalism, where like you're trading services while also, utilizing those services to make a dollar elsewhere. And
Right.
just like, there's comfort, not like nobody out here.
There's
you know what I mean?
camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
everybody, you build it as opposed to like just trying, I think,
Trying to motherfuck you.
just like
So
instead
I
of
get a
just
couple
straight,
dollars
just
in
trying to
my
get
bank
as
to
much,
motherfuck.
as much
Right.
money as possible can I
Right.
get and scrape
the-
the
at-
bottom of the barrel of
Right.
all that, because there's some
Glazed over that.
producers and
There
some
are,
people
and
that
promoters.
that
Yeah.
put
I'm
on
about
then
to
they're
start
just
using that.
Yeah.
You trying to motherfuck me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to get into a negotiation.
yeah,
sit
right,
at the
right.
table, slide a fucking contract. You trying to motherfuck me, aren't you?
That's what they're trying to do.
Trying to motherfuck.
Absolutely. They're taking your talent and your creativity and your art and they're using it for their benefit without an exchange, without a give and
that's
take.
what currency is like, and it's becoming so much more clear to me that currency is bullshit now because currency ain't even physical dollars anymore.
No.
Like your net worth is you're probably carrying a fraction of a percent of that in your. I don't know if
Right.
I have any cash on me now.
Right.
But on paper, I'm worth whatever amount.
Right.
But like, there was a point in history where goods and services were the currency.
It was
Like,
fucking tobacco.
what I could do is milk this cow. That's what I could
Yes.
do. And so what you're gonna do is give me a barley, a wheat, or whatever the fuck they used to trade, or corn, or whatever. Like that was the exchange. And you still need a little bit of that in what we do.
That's
because
what the majority of what we do is. I mean, if you really break it down, the majority at a certain level is just trade and services and
Right.
goods and whatnot. I mean, people that are like talented in these various ways and they're exchanging that, and if you're doing it well, you're growing together. There's a community that's growing. If you're doing it poorly, like you're parasite on, like talent and just sucking it up yourself.
And it's very short term because this is such a small town. People are going to know that you're a piece
Yeah.
of shit. And then finally they're going to say, get the fuck out of here.
we get
You
the
know?
bad promoter posts and all that.
Yeah.
And motherfuckers is banding together now. Like, look,
Yeah, I know.
this dude stiffed me on
Yeah.
this. Don't
Yeah.
fuck with him.
Lindsay Smith, she just posted that video. She came in from New Orleans. She was supposed to play a show, took her time, and it was canceled 2 hours before. And she's like, look it up on Facebook. And she's very direct and she's very sincere, but she's very blunt. She's like, no. Fuck this. This is unacceptable.
They still owe some bread for that, though.
Yeah.
Like, even if
Yeah,
you just
they're
pay
gonna
for
have to.
travel. Even if you just pay me
Right.
for travel.
Right.
like, if I come out, if I go OT and you cancel, that's your business.
Yeah.
But I just need to be
Right,
compensated for at least
Right.
going OT.
Yeah, I mean, I think like in those regards, looking at like in the bigger like those contracts, there's a lot like it's crazy that we're in that, but like I think that's the thing that we need to be more aware of. Like especially like
Even that
30-day
service
contracts and
costs
shit like that. Like
That service costs money, though, for somebody to draw up a contract.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Absolutely.
draw up a contract. My contract would be like, listen, fam, if I
Don't motherfuck me.
don't
don't
Yeah.
motherfuck me.
That's all you have to say.
here's an
Yo,
X.
cuz, don't motherfuck me.
Well, now, but now when you
Put
go to
your
court,
initials next to the X.
now you got to break down all the various distinction of what motherfucking
Well,
is.
that's when you bring you ask 6 motherfuckers. Hey,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did this. Is this a motherfucker? They'd be like, Yeah, that's a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, that's a
motherfucker.
mother boop. That's and we're there.
No, it's always the one. Well, technically,
Yeah, well, if you get a well technically,
That's not a
then, yeah, that's not a motherfucker.
I don't
Yeah,
call
I mean,
him
you
to the
gotta-
stand.
If you get 6 in a row, I feel
Yeah.
like I mean, if you get a
well,
not,
That's
yeah.
what the
you
jury
gotta-
system is.
gotta
There's
go
always
in.
well, technically, by the
Yeah.
letter of the law, yeah, he killed her, but they're charging him with, and that's not
Right.
what he did. And it was like, yo, fuck that.
Mm.
Sorry, that's how that's not a good way to end. Yeah, that's one more.
No, I mean we do appreciate everything you're
Buzz
doing
Davis.
for
Well,
the
thanks, man.
for the
I
culture
really
and
do
like coming in
appreciate-
and like
yeah.
all the all the knowledge and like I said, I think that large part of what we're trying to do and large part of what you already have like created is that like not just like holding the keys and being a gatekeeper like I've got this and like
right. All
you're-
for me. No.
Yeah, it's that like, growing. And as you grow, like as other people come up, like I feel like as you get older, you're starting to see that like boon and people that are trying to like, keep the whole thing going as opposed to like if you are for self, you're always kind of looking behind your back.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I've never had to do that. I flirted with it with like, I'm not a business guy, but last year I was called out on, hey man, you're fucking pay to play with some stuff that I was doing. And I didn't realize it and it was too late. And so, it's like almost worrying about likes, worrying about all this shit, worried about money, worried about, it's like, I'll go back to just doing what I do. And I think, true to hearts, it'll show.
Yeah, you get a
It really
strong
will.
team together, like you'll be good. Like everybody can focus on their strength.
Right.
I mean, you putting the lineups together. That's something that I know I couldn't put like a lineup of over 4 bands together. Like I can get 4 bands together because you
Well, Ed,
can't
I
go
know- I
wrong
know
with
it.
4 bands. That's why
Right.
we have 4 to 5 comedians. Like you can't really fuck that order up.
Right.
And we fucked that up.
Yeah,
like a large where you're carrying motherfuckers
Yeah.
for hours. Like
I can't imagine the
That's
fucking
crazy.
logistics of that.
Yeah,
even
shit,
Fresh Fest,
man.
it was what
Crazy.
4 with the headliners.
It was 6. Yeah, it was
And who did
6
that?
bands and then 4 DJs.
So who did that? Did you
so, like, I would-
like,
outsource the DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
that's
outsourced the
outsourced.
DJs with Make Sure You Have Fun. RB did the DJs, and then I picked the like me and Mike picked the bands or whatever.
And
kinda
so you
like-
you have your wish list and you contact them and they say, well, we can or we can't. And then that changes,
Yeah, I
They-
mean, like, well, if you get it far enough in advance,
Yeah, right,
and that's
right,
the thing
right.
that we like did
Right.
was like we were early, like, yo,
Right. Yeah, you gotta
are
do
you
that.
available?
Right.
This is what we got,
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
You
and
down?
like because there's already a little bit of a like, I mean, there was a little bit of steam going. It could
Oh, yeah.
be something of it. I mean, like, but but I think that like first and foremost, and that's the thing that like me and Ed have been doing for years is like like when you respect the artist and you like
Yes.
pay the artist and you're giving them like you're giving them like we started out like like I like when I first started producing shows I started out like with the like all right, you sell the tickets and you get a percentage of the tickets plus, so I would give you a baseline plus half the tickets sold, whichever, which was still wasn't a bad
Right.
whatever, but like after a while like that's cool getting into it, but at some point you gotta like be like, listen man, if you're coming here, it doesn't matter who's coming here, you're gonna get paid for your service because
And,
you're
then,
gonna
and Deutschtown. Deutschtown, we say we don't know if we can compensate you. Do you still
Well,
want to play?
but
Because it's 400 fucking bands.
Well, I mean,
You
but
know
that's
what
a
I mean?
completely, but that's a different,
Yeah.
like again,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
looking at the trade of services,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, right.
We're on a much smaller
Right,
scale. We're
right.
talking about 3-4
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah,
Plus,
I mean-
you're an artist yourself.
Yeah.
You know how to treat another artist.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So, for the people, I mean, I don't want to just have you say where can they find Deutschtown, but like, where can they find you? Where can they follow things that you have your hands in? Follow your show? Like, where can they find you?
Yeah, you go to hennywhite.com.
Anyway,
No, hey, no.
Henny.
You go you go to hughshows.com, HUGH shows.com. That has the TV show, that has the blog, that has the concert calendar. My concert calendar is like fucking banging. It's like 30 listings a day, on the weekend. So it's like if you ever want to, if you say, oh, what is there to do? Go see live music. Go to hughshows.com, concert calendar.
how far does the live music what are you covering with that?
Everything.
Like
It doesn't matter.
Anywhere in Pittsburgh?
No, Western Pennsylvania.
Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
So,
I don't go to.
So I'm up in Beaver, man. I'm
Yeah,
always looking for,
Beaver.
Like, live
Oh, yeah.
Like, movie
That's not
music
too
up
far.
There, I mean,
You
so I
know.
can just go there and
You
find
can go
live
there.
music.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what's happening tonight? And I could just hop
pretty
on
much.
there.
Yeah, I was at a show and somebody needed a drum key, and they went on my website to see where there was another show happening close by, and they found one
Sold.
on the calendar. Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah.
How does one like register for that?
So
Like,
all you have to
pay?
do is on my Facebook, I have a Hugh Shows Facebook, but I have a Hugh Twyman Facebook. For some reason, I put Hugh Twyman. If you have a Facebook event, invite Hugh Twyman, and it'll be automatically listed.
Ooh.
Yes.
wow.
So if you have a Facebook event,
You know that technology.
Yeah,
You know how to link
I had
shit.
to make it simple.
You know how
I
to
didn't want to
link
sit
shit.
there and edit anything.
Wifey just hit me with
Yeah.
some shit, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. She's like, well, it puts all your posts and
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
I don't know how to do that.
So HughShows.com and DeutschtownMusicFestival.com, and nobody can spell Deutschtown. I can't even. But yeah, that's coming up next year, every year. So it's crazy. It's fun, man.
All right, Dave, let the people know where they can find us.
Hey, if you're looking for us, you can find us on Wine Enthusiast 40.
Yeah.
Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod.
And you memorize that. I love that you memorize that. It's just
Find
like,
us at
yeah,
epicastnetwork.com/partners.
here's what I say. Hey, my name is Hugh Twyman. I produce a photo music blog in Pittsburgh called Hugh Shows. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Hugh Shows. And the new thing is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the new
Yeah, I heard that
Instagram,
LinkedIn be getting the
you
plug because motherfuckers is professional now. Everybody got their
who's really
thing.
about that shit?
That's why it's weird for me because I got like a real job. So like my LinkedIn's, I'd have two different LinkedIn's because these motherfuckers try to come to my shit. And I like how you straddle the fence very well. Like it's like I promote this, but I ain't involved.
No, I am.
I
I'm
ain't
not.
saying that shit. Like you can go, but you ain't gonna see me. Like I'm gonna start promoting my shows. Like go to this show, I won't be there. They just pop it up on stage. Like motherfuck, bitch, goddamn. I'm like you're fired. Then.
Well, thanks, guys. Thank you.
My one friend, she said, I don't give advice. I make suggestions.
There you go.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, don't worry if I write rhymes. I write checks. So listen, we want to thank Hugh Twyman for coming in.
Thank you,
That's
man.
a top 10 guest name too, Hugh Twyman. You seems like you might be a superhero, like you're he's teacher by day, crime fighter by night. You know what I mean? But we'll thank you for coming out. Thank you for helping to curate the music scene here in Western Pennsylvania. And as always, Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family. We out. You lucked up on that. That is not good.
Hugh Twyman. Listen, the only other Hugh Twyman I went to Dollar Bank that's in there for years. Says, oh, you have 260. Wow, what? Twyman. The guy lived, I was living in traffic. He lived in Ingram.
I need a bank check.
Old black dude, right?
Epicast.